Hello. Again, I'm going to talk about 988. Unfortunately, if you have a problem with the supervisors or the counselors, there is no grievance or complaints to give, or everybody has like a court or something to prove that you're innocent. One of the counselors thinks that I'm in love with him. I'm not. And I'm sorry God told me he wanted me to marry him, but I laughed at God. And I've tried a couple times to straighten things out, and I don't know if he has a mental issues, that he's really good at what he does, but kind of like autism. They're really good with what they do, but their cognitive thinking, they get stuck on a word, like the word discord. Jake, that night or that day when you pushed me to say I was suicidal, and my multiples believed it was a secret to them. And it's kind of strange that you can talk about a man's sexual parts and we can't talk about a female's. I went to Discord to find out why it happened. I talked to almost everybody I could talk to on 988 to find out why it happened. And I cried, and you hung up the phone, and I was embarrassed, and I wasn't okay. And I lay down on the couch and I cried and cried and cried, and I knew I'd be suicidal. You would reject me, and you didn't more than just reject me. You put it, the whole 988 program rejected me. I was never understood as a child, never tried to understand me. And I was rejected every day of my life as a child. And not one counselor did I ever have in 30 years ask me about my childhood. And unfortunately, 988 don't allow us to talk about sexual things. I guarded my heart with everything I had to not feel rejected by anybody on 988. And I don't know how to get to you, but every time you hang up or transfer, I feel rejected. I want things straightened out. I want you to understand. Jake on Illinois 988. I said I couldn't control my body, and you said, oh, yeah, I know that, but yet you are the judge, jury, and persecutor. Might as well hang me from a tree like they did Yeshua. Exactly why they did Jewish. They put him on the tree because he told the truth. I told you the truth, and I said it wasn't okay. And you took it personally. What was I supposed to do? Can anybody answer me? Not even doctors can tell me why it happened. But maybe in heaven, that's the way things go. We're lights, beaming lights, orbs, but we're also, how do you say that word? Hermaphrodites. We're both sexes, both male and female. And I cried out, what was I supposed to know? Who didn't tell me? Be honest with you, I wasn't told about sex. I learned by being abused. I still didn't know everything about it. I've had a hysterectomy, so can't have children, but I didn't know how to know when my monthlies were supposed to come, how to count them or anything. I never did learn. I liked you because you was the best at what you did. I like everybody, but now I feel rejected by everyone. When the calls drop and you say, okay, that's all right, I did that to you, but just keep trying to call. Every time I got hung up, said, well, it's been your fourth time. It's been more than your fourth time tonight now, because I'm desperate to get the help that you won't give me. I called and said I'm suicidal, and who answers the phone? Jake. Yeah, Jake. You said, I don't care. This is what you say when I tell you I'm suicidal and you don't help me. I don't care about you. No, I don't. You love me, and I don't want you loving me. Or you're having feelings, sexual feelings for me. Oh my God. Never had any of those feelings for you. I guarded myself with all I had. And there's someone out there that says he loves me, and he's married. And he's rich. Why couldn't it have been somebody that's not married? Put his arms around me, tell me everything's going to be all right, because nobody ever has. Not a father of mine. My mom was schizophrenic. She didn't see the horrible things I went through. Although she didn't like it when I accidentally called my aunt Mom in front of her. I was so embarrassed. You know, I've never talked about this to anybody. Not one counselor, therapist. Do you know how I feel going through therapy for 30 years and not being treated for the things that I needed treated for? When Tom Lambert was my first real good therapist, told me, and he diagnosed me with multiple personality disorder. It'll take 2 years for every year you've been abused. I was abused my whole childhood, into my 20s. Nobody helped me with the sexual things either, being sexually abused at such a young child. I think Tom Lambert started, and then he left. Guess he left because he found out he had cancer, brain tumor. He lived for another 10 years. I think maybe 20. I don't remember how old he was when he left. Since you won't talk to me on 988, and you have cursed me, judged me, what would God say to you? I'm sorry for you. I don't know you. I'd rather know the person that I'm going to marry. I don't want somebody that judges and curses and ready to put the gallows up and hang me by a rope. You know, I was an angel and volunteered to come to this earth to make it better. Didn't know that I was going to be so abused and rejected. And I did tell you that, Jake, when I tried to explain what happened. Very last thing I said, my heart was hurt. And I'll be rejected. And when I'm rejected, I'm suicidal. Jake, you keep this up, I'm going to wind up killing myself over, not over love, but over rejection and misunderstanding and not trying. I only asked a lady on Discord for help. And she's got an 8th grade mental mind. But when I told you, my friend on Discord, who we called T-Glow, left, all you thought was of discord. You couldn't be apologetic for my loss of my friend for 7 years who stuck next to me. Sent me a message from some guy that I think is a druggie, that I forgot that I'm in heaven. You just have to remember. Who says that? What happened to Queen? She was trying to teach me how to take care of myself. How to make myself feel good about how to make me beautiful. I struggled tonight. Tried to get somebody to hear me. And all they're worried about, more worried about the restrictions. The phones had dropped the call all night tonight. Nobody cares about me. Oh, they want to do what they're told to ask. Are you suicidal? Of course I am. Gonna do anything to hurt yourself? Well, if I do, I'm not gonna tell you. Today, that's what I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna tell you. Oh, well, they're just gonna call the emergency services, so then they won't feed my dogs when I'm in the hospital. They don't give a shit about the animals. They cared about me. They'd make sure my house was worth living in. I told you nothing good ever happens for me. That includes you. Your counseling was good for me. And, I want to mention this. Yeah, somebody, I can't remember, it was a lady, I think her name started with an S, said, what do you like about Jake? Why is he so important to you? One thing he was good at, and I liked your soft voice. So she goes back and tells you, yeah, Mitzi likes her soft voice, so the next time I hear from you, it's a deep voice. You don't want me to like you. I don't like you. I don't love you. But at the time, it was good for me. Like all the other counselors. The thing is, I didn't have a mom and dad. I had to teach myself to grow up. And I still don't know how. me. They never did. Forget it. So, Jake, if you know my number, you can call me sometime. Bye.